Magandang araw mga kaproyekto. Welcome ho sa Proyekto Pilipino. To a certain extent, special to kasi although hindi po ko alam ng tatlo kong co-host. Ito rin ho ang papalabas namin sa Journeys of Hope for the next 2 weeks because ang topic ho natin is how to remain involved, no? Civic involvement. Lalo na ho ngayon, panahon ng kampanya, panahon ng eleksyon, at saka alam naman natin ho, kahit anong sabihin natin, may impact sa atin, especially sa mga ano, no? Sa mga development works. May impact yung pagkansela ho ng US ni President Trump ng lahat ng aid sa mga ibang bansa, no? So andito ho kami, kaya ho wala kaming guest kasi kaming apat ho mag-uusap-usap tungkol doon at siguro ako pwede bang magsimula na ako? Okay. Yung pastoral letter ho ng Catholic Bishops Conference lumabas February 2. It's a very beautiful pastoral letter. There is an abridged version I think which is easier for everybody to read, but even the long version is an easy read, no? Um Andun ho, ako sa akin yung tama sa akin noon, yung linya na sinabi ng mga obispo sa huli, let us not give up on one another because God does not give up on us. It's a call to everybody to come together. Ang talas nung kanilang analysis sa bungad, they criticize the deterioration of morality, of ecology, of the corruption, economy, yung budget, sa politics, political dynasty, they talked about it, nawala ng checks and balances, communications, yung fake news and how that's weaponized. So very sharp yung kanilang pag-analyze, no? Tsaka medyo matapang siya pero hindi siya palaban, alam nyo, yung ganon. And then after that, may rhetorical question sila. May pag-asa pa nga ba? Di ba? May pag-asa pa nga ba? And then they shift and say, who can we turn to? And then they do a call to reflection and conversion. Let us examine ourselves. Tapos ang gustong-gusto ko ron, let us hold ourselves accountable also. Dito magsisimula yung pag-asa natin. No? So, ako, I'd like to share that kasi I think it's a call to be involved, no? It's from the bishops. It's a
Fads, can
call to be
I,
involved. Yes, Leroy.
pwede kong tugunan yun, Fads, because as you were saying that, I also wanted to share with you this amazing new book that I'm starting to read. It's a book called Cross Purposes, Christianity's Broken Bargain with Democracy by an author named Jonathan Rauch. Ang sabi ni Jonathan Rauch, interesting siya, Father, because he's an atheist gay man and he believes na dapat manumbalik yung mainstream Christian religions sa sentro ng politika sa US. Because as an atheist, he used to say na secularization was a good thing because it would allow Americans to rediscover secular values like liberalism. And then he realized, as nangyari nga yung secularization ng US, ang na-discover ng mga Amerikano for meaning was things like fake news, things like radicalism, things like the far right. So here's this atheist gay man arguing that yung mainline Christian religions, including the Catholic Church, serve a real function and pag nawala yung mainline functions na yun, gumuguho yung demokrasya ng Estados Unidos. And he claims, ang argument niya is one of the reasons kung bakit ang hina bigla ng demokrasya ng Estados Unidos ay dahil humina yung mga mainline religions. And it made me think, it's applicable to the Philippines. Ano kaya mangyayari sa liberal democracy ng Pilipinas kung humina yung ating mainline religion, yung simbahang katoliko? Ngayong ang simbahang katoliko ang isa sa mga promotor talaga ng liberal democracy sa Pilipinas from the days of Father Burgos, and I think it's important to revisit yung scene na pinalabas last year, yung
Yeah.
Burgos. So I just thought I wanted to share it with you, Father.
Ang ganda niyan.
Maybe I'll
Yeah.
send you a copy of the book because you would find it very interesting.
Yeah. Paano naman,
May
Lloyd,
dada ay,
send it to us? Tapos, ikaw ba,
may
Manolo,
dada ay,
padala also, related to that before, and then I'll give it the floor to Manolo. Someone sent, I'm not sure, no, Ato Salud, sent an article from the Philippine Daily Star. There was a Pew survey,
survey.
very recent, di ba? I'm sure you came across that, Manolo. 81% of Filipinos want their legislators to bring in Christian values, values of religion, into the laws, the values. No? So very much aligned Leloy doon sa sinabi mo, no?
Yeah, pero sabi ni Rausch, sabi niya, well, if you bring in Christian values to the laws, that means you're just bringing in the values of Madison and Jefferson, because the founding fathers, in their belief that we should be compassionate and we should check power and we should find ways to love each other. That's just Christianity for him. So
Yeah.
I guess it depends, kasi it depends on what Christian values, Father. Kasi of course, hindi natin natanong, baka hopefully hindi mali-mali yung Christian values na iniisip ng mga tao na yun, because baka iniisip nilang Christian values is things like vengeance, for example. And
Yeah.
I heard this, unfortunately, nung panahon ni Duterte, di ba? Kristiyano ako, kaya ang kailangan natin is, the God of vengeance against the drug
Yeah.
addict.
Okay, Manolo, sorry. The floor is yours, Manolo.
No, because gusto ko lang ikabit ito sa mga kaganapan sa Amerika at sa Pilipinas na rin sa larangan ng politika. Binanggit ni Leloy, the three concepts I think were very important. Compassion, love for one another, and there was one more, Leloy. Um,
Uh, uh, let's just say a kind of generosity of spirit, Manolo.
Generosity of spirit. And ang isang konsepto na binanggit din or category na binanggit din ni Leloy, which was the mainline religions. So anong ibig sabihin nito? Kung titingnan ninyo ang mga nangyayari sa Amerika ngayon, tinatalikuran ng isang malaking hanay sa Amerika ang mga konseptong ito. Sinasabi nila hindi na dapat magpadala ng tulong ang Amerika sa iba't ibang bansa dahil kailangan tulungan natin ang ating sarili. Bakit pa natin tinutulungan ng iba? Hindi tayo dapat gumagastos o nagbibigay ng tulong sa mga nag-aal sa balutan mula sa ibang bansa dahil iniiba nila ang kabuuan ng ating lipunan at nawawala ang panguna na nangunguna ang mga puti and that sort of thing. What this means is, and a lot of these people are very militant Christians, for example, but they are Christians who follow the gospel of prosperity as it's called. Na ang simbolo na binindisyonan ka na ng Panginoon ay kung mayaman ka. At kung mahirap ka, ibig sabihin nun, may kakulangan ka sa harap sa mata ng Diyos. And that's a particular kind of Christianity. It's not the Christianity of Catholicism or Lutheranism or many of the traditional Christian religions. So anong punto ko dito? Nawawala na nga ang konsepto, some would call it the old-fashioned concepts of virtue, na ang hinahabol dapat habulin ng tao, na lampasan ang kakulangan na nasa sarili natin, that we can be virtuous, we can be better than what we were. In other words, merong nabanggit na isang komentator sa Amerika, nawawala ang konsepto ng sibika. Dahil ang sibika ang tumutulong sa atin na lampasan ang pagnanais para sa sarili lamang at nagbibigay ng halaga sa pagsilbi at pagtulong sa kapwa-tao at sa lipunan. And that's where we are because pumapasok na tayo sa isang kampanya na naman. At katulad nung nagsimula ang ating Proyekto Pilipino, ito na naman ang panahon. Ito na naman. Yes. And this is the time na pipili na naman tayo. Nagpadala si Elon Musk ng isang by now infamous email sa mga nagtatrabaho sa US government. Fork in the road.
Fork in the road, yes.
And yes. Pipiliin mo ba na tanggapin mo na lang yung pera at umalis ka na sa gobyerno o tatanggalin ka namin? Well, in this case, we're now all in a fork in the road. Anong klaseng Pilipinas na naman ang pipiliin natin? Yung may lugar para sa kapwa-tao o para sarili na lang pag-iisipan natin?
Gusto ko lang mabilis lang, Manolo, sa mga viewers natin, nasa tingin nila walang epekto yung nangyayari sa US sa Pilipinas. May epekto ito. Napag-usapan namin kanina yung withdrawal ng USAID funds. Ultimo, lahat ng mga organisasyon, maraming mga organisasyon na tumutulong sa Pilipino ay tumatanggap ng pera galing doon. Isa pa, yung constitutional order dito sa US, ginagaya yan sa Pilipinas. Yung mga abogado, for example, they will sometimes cite US case law to justify. Itong ginawa ni Trump na sabi niya, wala akong pakialam kung inallocate ng Congress itong budget na to. Hindi ako maglalabas ng pera. Ako ang maglalabas ng pera kung gusto ko o hindi. pwede yung makita ng isang future Filipino president and say parang, pwede naman palang i-ignore ang Kongreso, ako na rin, di ba? So, may implications din sa Pilipinas, nakakatakot kahit para sa
Oo,
atin.
oo. Pero just to pick up that point, Leloy, yun ang nakakatakot sa Amerika ngayon eh. Kasi 'di ba dati sinasabi natin, kahit sinong ilagay mo sa White House, malakas ang institusyon, mga institusyon ng Amerika. Pero kahit yun, unti-unti nakikita natin na meron palang butas, Leloy?
Hmm.
And ano ngayon ba? Ano ba nag-hold out ngayon? Yung courts na lang
Courts
so
na
far?
lang, Fads.
'Di
And
ba?
I must say, yun nga, yung mga bumibigay na institusyon, yung mga mainline religions, di ba?
Yeah.
Na nag-give up na rin to bearing witness. I know we have a lot of conversations about this, but the American Catholic Church is in a deeply problematic place
Correct,
where,
correct.
for example, si Vice President J.D. Vance is a convert to Catholicism, and yet he believes that Christ told people to love your family and only your family first. Sabi niya, you cannot love other nations until you've fully loved your family and your country. Ang sarap tanungin, paano naging Katoliko yon? 'Di ba? Hindi, sabi nga, go and make disciples of all nations, 'di ba? Hindi naman makasarili ang Katolisismo.
Saka, 'di ba ang
Vice President of the United States insisting that that's Catholicism.
and even Lela, just to add to that, 'di ba? Ang aspiration ng Christian love is agape, the universal love. 'Di ba?
Oo nga po.
Beyond the philos, 'di ba? The family love and friendship, no. Carlo, mukhang si Carlo may gustong sabihin.
No, I was just thinking, Father Tito, yung it's important din kung naintindihan natin kung bakit nangyayari yan, no? Saan nanggagaling yan. And it reminded me, the last time I was in the US, what struck me was how far behind they were in terms of infrastructure. Hindi na siya kasing ganda ng ibang lugar which I've been to. And it struck me it was very surprised, no? And then ngayon
Saan ka
nag-usap
napunta ka, no? Matanong, saang state ka
uh
napunta?
both east and west sa New York, saka lalo na sa New York, the East Coast, ang
Yes,
sama na ng
Sa East Coast, yeah.
infrastructure. So it
Yeah.
makes me think, no, yung sinasabi, unahin muna natin yung sarili bago tayo tumulong sa iba. And it reminded me yung sinasabi sa eroplano, 'di ba? Pagka bumabagsak ang eroplano, bago mo ayusin yung tumulong sa iba, fix your own mask. And I think this is a mentality that a lot of people have. Although medyo natutwist siya for political purposes, but I think it's very important to think of that as well. And what it on the flip side kasi what it reminded me while we were talking about yung phrase na pinopularize ni Senator Claro M. Recto, yung mendicant foreign policy. Yung lagi na lang nagiintay ng
Or
hingi,
humihingi,
humihingi.
nakadipa, paalala,
And
ganyan.
wina-weaponize yan sa US eh. Nasasabi, bigay tayo ng bigay. What do we have in turn? So I think that's something to think about. It's never just one-sided. There's always a root cause as to why these things are happening.
Mm-hmm. But alam mo, mabalik tayo doon sa pag-cancel ng aid, ano? Ang daming naapektuhan kasi nabanggit nga bago tayo magsimula, 'di ba, pinag-usapan natin. For example, yung isang foundation kung saan ako nagtatrabaho, 1.2 billion yung apektado. And yung 1.2 billion na yun is dedicated to environmental projects, no? Ecology. And it is serving, I think, kung hindi ako nagkakamali, 28 smaller foundations and NGOs working all over the Philippines for ecology programs, no? And kasama na dyan, marami kasi ecology projects kasama ang mga indigenous people, ano? And then in Caritas, we have several projects na apektado rin. Yun naman, ano yun, related to humanitarian, ano, yung mga rehabilitation, etc. So, ngayon, lahat ito nakatiwangwang, ano? And these projects have been planned, what? These are 2, 3 year projects, no?
Naisip ko rin, Fats, this year is the year of the Bangsamoro election. So, napaka-importante na nangyayari sa Mindanao ngayon.
Yeah.
At SAID is very invested sa mga kapatid nating Moro. Tapos, ngayon pa mangyayari yan. Masakit talaga para sa Pilipinas.
Yeah. Ako masakit, pero ano yung challenge sa atin, ano? I'll just share one thing with you. Merong isa kaming, hindi ko na lang babanggitin yung diocese. Recipient sila noong, kasi nakatanggap ang Caritas din ng grant for the ecology project. Ano, yung Inspire ang pangalan ng project. So yung isang diocese in the Visayas nakatanggap. So in-announce namin na mukhang delikado yung funding. Ang sagot nung nung social action director, praise God. At least we will be freed from the neo-colonialist Trump. So yun yung kanyang response, no? Well, maybe that's
Be careful what you wish for.
yeah, di ba? So, but sa akin, ako, of course, alam mo ko I'm eternally positive and hopeful. Ang comment ko nga is do sa mga exchange ko with our different groups. Maybe God is just speeding up kasi, for example, in Caritas, ang pangarap namin is to become a grant-giving agency for the Filipinos and then eventually for our Caritas Asia member countries. Yun yung pangarap ng Caritas Philippines. So sabi ko, kaya nga, ang sagot ko na lang, God is speeding up what we wish for, what we are praying for. Ayan, binibigay ng Diyos, bilisan ninyo, di ba? So, yun yung
Well, Franz, sa akin kasi, I mean, at the core of everything, and it's not, hindi lang mga Amerikano ito. I mean, I always remind everyone, nung nasa pamahalan kami, nagugulat kami dahil maraming, pag nag-iikot kami sa mga probinsya, maraming galit sa K-12 for one simple reason na dinagdagan ang mga taon sa school. Ibig
correct.
sabihin, pananaw ng mga magulang, tataas ang
Ex-
gastos nila.
Extra
Gusto lang nila
gastos.
makatapos yung anak. And I said that, that's very short-sighted. Maraming
Mm.
galit dati sa conditional cash transfers na talagang nakakatulong sa mga mahihirap dahil bakit daw binibigyan ng pera ang mahirap, marami namang mga ibang pamilya na nangangailangan. So
Ah,
bakit ba kailangan, di ba? So that's as Filipino and maraming Amerikano na magsasang-ayon sa ganung pananaw. And in
yes.
fact, the logical expression of this is yung nga ni Pangulong Trump na sabi niya, isang tabi na natin yung dating pananaw na a rising tide lifts all boats, na kung tutulungan, bibigay ng ayuda ang Amerika, lahat aasenso at makakatulong ito sa kaginhawaan ng mundo. Palitan na natin ito, might makes right. Tayong pinakamaraming armas, tayong dapat ang masunod. At kung ayaw nyo, de paparusahin namin kayo. And that is the new and in a sense old point of view na pabalik ngayon. And makikita natin ito kahit sa mga private dealings natin. Sa Korea, kung saan ako ngayon, maraming mga sa kalalakihan ang galit sa kababaihan dahil sa women's rights. And because of that, yung pangulong tinanggal nila ngayon, nahalal because it was a backlash against women's rights. So, and I've heard it also in the Philippines and in America, yung concepts yung against equality and gender improvement, dahil naguguluhan ang mga dating sanay na mamuno sa having to share power. So, ang punto ko lang, sa eleksyon na ito, maraming magsasabi na dapat hindi na tayo mag-aksaya, hindi na tayo dapat magbigay ng panahon at pansin sa mga bagay na distraction lamang, mag-focus
Mm.
na lang tayo sa sarili, gulpihin natin ang mga hindi sang-ayon sa atin and that sort of thing. And you have a choice. Yun ba ang mga kandidato na pipiliin mo? Yun ba um, without naming a candidate, kung ang tagline mo sa pagtatakbo mo para sa Senado ay bitay, di ba? Um, what does that tell you about yung pananaw mo na ihahanap ng mga botante, di ba?
Ah,
Kala natin ang panahon ng mga berdugo lumipas na. Baka
ah,
hindi pa.
yeah.
I think magandang balikan yung sinabi ni Father nung una, yung sinabi niya yung sa reflection, Fads. And I think before anything else, that's where we should start from, a period of reflection. Naalala ko tuloy, for some reason I was just thinking about this. Nung na-assassinate si Ninoy Aquino, naalala ko to. This was for some reason this was very vivid in my memory. Yeah, it might have been the earliest memory I have. Yung nung kasi nandoon kami sa ano noon sa living room sa sala nanonood kami ng TV. I must have been around 4 or 3 nung bumani yung balita namatay na si Ninoy. Tahimik yung ano yung bahay, as in walang umiiyak, walang ano, just quiet, just very, very quiet. And later on, when I was an adult and I came to realize what that silence meant, I and I think it for a lot of families like ours, which was a middle class Filipino family, making ends meet, it was a silence born out of reflection na ano ba talaga yung nangyayari? Ano yung gusto nating mangyari? And I think that was what was so important for my parents who heard it on the news. Mayroon silang quiet reflection, and then from that quiet reflection they exactly knew what they wanted to do. And I think that was a lot of what middle class Filipinos felt. Nasa Lagro ako noon, Fads, eh. It was talagang middle class ano yan eh. And I have to say, I think that was their driving resolve to finally say, tama na yung ano, tama na yung diktatora, yung living under that kind of regime. And I think going back to that point of reflection, ang hirap minsan mag-carve out ng space for that. But I think we do have to make an effort for that, no, Fads. Like that's why I love that pastoral letter.
Siguro sa akin, one of the things I am trying to do is to get a group of church people to talk to government. And how do we create a partnership, no? And with very specific points in the pastoral letter, no? Kasi nga, sabi nga, balikan ko, ito yung reflection ko talaga na what is driving me now to get people together. Let's not give up on one another because God does not give up on us. So for me, my goal now as Caritas is to get people to talk, no? For example, ito kukwento ko na sa inyo, no? So I met with Secretary Calyan and Secretary Angara. But the one who facilitated the meeting, and it was in the office of the facilitator, was the First Lady. So siya nag-imbita kay Secretary Angara, I've been meeting with them, ano? So the idea kasi was with the protest against the budget, how do we get the budget items under those two departments to be used properly with the partnership with Caritas? Since Caritas is present all over, di ba? 86 dioceses all over the country. So nung pag-present ko ng Caritas do sa meeting, sabi ng First Lady, ayan naman pala eh, andyan na oh. Ba't hindi na lang natin gawin yan parang partner ng existing programs ng dalawang departamento, no? So yun ang nangyari. So ngayon meron kaming Tarabasa with DSWD, we have that anti-stunting, and then we have micro-credentialing, and then training, etc. So ang daming programa na magpa-partner kami with the dioceses who are willing, and then sa DepEd, they are supporting the nationwide implementation of the out-of-school youth program, the Alay Kappa Community Schooling, and with possible vouchers, no? So, nagkaroon na ng gano'n. Pero, naglabas ng litrato ang Office of the First Lady. So, nabash na ako. Nabash ng katakot-takot, di ba, na how dare me raw partner with... Sandali, we're not partnering with the First Lady. Nagmagandang loob lang yung tao na and we're partnering with the SWD and DepEd, no? So for me, mahalaga yun eh. Kasi ang stand ko, and ang stand ng maraming diocese at mga bubiso at pare, yung mga programa ng gobyerno which rightfully belongs to the people, dapat ang simbahan tumulong ma-implement. And that's one way to avoid corruption, no? Example, yung programa ng Department of Labor, tupad ba yon yung work for pay, di ba? Yun, that's a source of corruption. Ida-download sa politiko, ang ibibigay ng politiko is 10, 20%, yung 80% na nasa sa isang tabi, 30, 40%, malaking 40%, no? But kung i-course mo yon through the parishes and the dioceses, that's a good partnership, no? So, yun yung, para sa akin, let's not give up on one another, di ba? and let's try to work together, no? So parang yun yung hope ko ngayon, and that's what I'm trying to do, no? I'm trying to set up partnerships of hope. Maybe that's the way I will call it, no?
Naisip
Well,
ko lang, Fats,
Fads,
Go ahead,
naisip
yeah.
ko lang, it's so easy to be disillusioned and also na mahawa sa mga Amerikano. Pero actually, we are a moment in the Philippines na hindi kasing sama nung nangyayari sa US. Yung
Correct.
US got worse with this last election. And I think say what you will about itong current administration, at least bumaba yung nivel ng pambabastos sa politika no pumasok yung, let's call it more gentlemanly politics of the current president. So, like him or you hate him, yung kultura ng bashing, yung kultura ng nagmumurahan, yung kultura ng bastusan, yung kultura ng lantarang sexism, na dial down yun eh. So in a way, yung trajectory natin sa Pilipinas is opposite ng trajectory sa US.
Correct.
So
Okay.
I think we're doing a bit, we're not doing great, but we're doing a bit better. And of course, with projects like that, na may mga fair-minded cabinet secretaries, there are still spaces for hope sa Pilipinas. Kaya
Correct.
huwag na natin
Correct.
pansinin yung mga Amerikano. Problema ko na lang yun dahil dito ako nakatira. Pero yung mga Pilipino, parang, wag na.
well,
Ay,
ito
Manalo,
problema.
before you go, I'll just add two things, ha. Number two, meron akong glimmer of hope na merong tao sa mga gobyerno na willing to help curb corruption. And I would like to say the president is one of them. He is willing. Kailangan lang talaga ng siguro ng klarong partnership and suporta, no? Tapos number two, may binigay sa atin si Manolo in from the Washington Post, yung isang na-depress na, nung manalo si Trump. But nung naka-overcome na siya ng depression, yun tawag niya, di ba Manolo? Let's do our civic duty. Let's not let this dark era parang dim our hopes. No? Okay, Manolo, take it from there.
Sa akin kasi, sa lahat ng politika, sa atin at sa Amerika, may dalawang emosyon na nakakatulong sa kampanya. Galit at takot. Yun ang pinakamagaling na motivator at nagpapatibay ng isang hanay. Problema, it's destructive
Correct.
and self-defeating. Ngayon, I always remember merong sinulat si Teodoro M. Locsin Sr., yung tatay ni Teddy Boy. Sabi niya, nakakatakot ang kabutihan. Goodness is terrifying because to admit that there is something good is to recognize the evil in all of us. It's easier just to say that everyone is evil because it's comforting and reassuring and doesn't require you to take a look at yourself. Yun ang sinabi niya. And I always remember that. And sabi niya, that explains so much cynicism in politics and everything.
Ah.
And katulad ng pinapatunay ni Fads, if we all stick to our campo, pink lang tayo, dilawan lang tayo, green lang tayo, red lang tayo, syempre isipin mo na galit o takot lang ang magpapatakbo sa ating buhay. But at the same time, you have to admit of the possibility not only of goodness but redemption in the person across. Because you're hoping that person considers that for you. In which case, there should be a chance even with the isipin mo na magnanakaw o mamatay tao yung kausap mo, but there might be that element of goodness so that in one aspect, makakatulong yung pinagkasunduan nyo. And that, I think, is actually at the heart of all politics and all human relations. So, kung meron tayong mga small victories or small examples na, and we've seen it throughout this show, di ba? From the barangay level on up, ayun lang ang kailangan natin pagpatuloy.
Yung Manolo, just picking up from that point, di ba? Yung what are the empowering di ba? The empowering moves or programs, no? And if I could throw this in, yung question of ayuda, di ba? Sabi nga ni Carlo kanina, sabi ni Senator ni Claro M. Recto, di ba? The mendicancy foreign policy, no? Pero kung ilalagay mo sa tamang perspektiba ang ayuda, nabanggit mo yun, Manolo, about the 4Ps, di ba? Kasi di ba yung goal ng 4Ps is not to let these families fall further down into poverty. Hindi naman siya ang solusyon eh. Stopgap measure yun. Clearly stopgap.
Yes.
And I think, yung ayuda ngayon sa budget, And that's where I think the partnerships will come in, NGOs, church. Sige, sabi nyo, ayuda yan, gamitin natin bilang ayuda. Hindi para corruption. Kasi talagang marami naman kailangan ng tulong, di ba? Pero paano mo rin matatranslate yung ayuda into the road of development? Meron ako isang kwento no, na tinulungan ng Caritas Philippines, tiga Limanan sa Bicol, Diocese of Limanan. Hindi siya Katoliko Adventist siya. Bahagi siya nung Kapamilya program ng Caritas Philippines. Yung Kapamilya program, we give them 350 pesos a day for a family of 5 para makapag ano sila isang dissenting meal ano. Tapos noon meron niyang training, meron yung tinatawag na SHEG, yung savings sa mga babae, may mga training yung values formation, isang membro ng pamilya pinapaaral kasi bahagi yun ng long term ano na itong pag pinapaaral na bata ang tutulong sa pamilya makalabas sa kahirapan no. Ayuda. Pero yung isang nagsalita sa amin 2 weeks ago, doon sa training ng mga social action directors, ang galing niya, Adventist siya. Natipid niya yung 350, nakakain sila ng maayos, nakapag-save siya, nakabili siya ng inahing baboy, nanganak ang mga baboy, nakabili ng motor, dahil meron siyang motor, nagmumotor siya, nag-training siya sa Tesla doon sa kabilang bayan, ngayon nakapag-aral yung mga anak, nag-aaral lahat ng anak dahil sa baboy, pero ngayon, empleyado siya ng isang malaking yung toll manufacturer ng mga damit. Nag-aaral siya ng dressmaking. Ngayon, from Bicol, nakatira siya ngayon sa Lipa dahil doon siya nagtatrabaho. And for me, sabi ko nga doon sa mga social and action directors, yan ang dapat nating gawin. Ang dami nating hindi naaabot na mahihirap. Pero yan ang pag-asa natin. Mga taong tumanggap ng ayuda, pero kailangan may kasamang formation, di ba? Yung pagbabago ng pag-iisip at pananaw, no? Kagaya nitong si Grace, ang pangalan niya, no? Grabe, di ba? Amakan mo. Yun yung talagang empowerment and sariling sikap, di ba? And from 350 pesos a day, nabago niya yung buhay ng kanyang pamilya. So for me yun, yung isang kwento yun, ano, ng ayuda na nagamit to empower. Ngayon, di niya na kailangan ng ayuda. So,
Yung mga ganyang systemic, yun yung hindi nakikita minsan eh. Kaya nabanggit nga ni Manolo, sa tingin ng mga tao, yung sinasabi nilang dole out,
oo.
iisip nila nagsasayang yung gobyerno. Pero sa totoo, actually, kumakalat yung effects nun, may multiplier effects yun. Pag, for example, nakaahon sa kahirapan or nakabalik sa eskwela yung mga anak, di magiging productive yung anak, magkakaroon ng trabaho, di ba, magko-contribute sa ekonomiya, i-multiply mo yon, umangat yung Pilipinas. Yung importante dito ang pag-isipan natin is yung idea of investing in our people. And
Correct, correct.
these efforts are all investments. So hindi porket hindi mo nakita kaagad yung resulta, sasabihin mo, ayoko na. I think ganito rin yung nangyari dito sa US eh. Like for example, ayaw na namin pondohan yung mga university kasi ano ba yung ginagawa ng mga profesor diyan, 'di ba? Hindi mo kasi nakikita kaagad na yung investment mo ay napupunta na for example dun sa cure for cancer. Or the next groundbreaking vaccine. So, part of politics for me is patience. Dapat matuto tayong maghintay dahil lahat ng mga the interventions that last take a while. Yung mga interventions that don't last, say, kill the addict. Sige, ano yon, mamatay yung isang addict, ano mangyayari? Meron pa ring drugs sa Pilipinas, di ba? So, patience is key to yung proyekto Pilipino natin.
Which unfortunately is medyo kulang na kulang pa, di ba? Hindi, kahit na lang, kahit sa mga politiko. I've worked with politicians since I left Ateneo kasi program ko is with public schools. Hindi sila sold sa mga long-term programs. Kailangan merong mapapakita para sa susunod na eleksyon.
Yun nga.
But formation of teachers and principals, mahabang proseso yan di ba?
Oh.
Nung nagsimula ako, nung sinabi ko, nag-o-offer ho kami ng formation program for teachers and principals, tinitingnan ako, anong formation? Ba't kailangan natin ng formation? Di ba? So, tama ka, Leloy, na yung patience Na, marathon to di ba? Hindi ito sprint, di ba? So,
Just to ride on to what Lali was saying about patience, gusto ko lang sabihin sa viewers natin. Aware kami na for someone who has less, patience is not
Yes.
hindi 'di ba? Parang
Di
mahirap
madali.
sabihin na
Ah,
relax ka lang pero wala na ako kinakain eh. Kaya nga
Correct.
ang challenge dito is how do we package that concept in such a way na maintindihan ng lahat na para sa kabutihan ng lahat to. And this challenge falls very heavily on the shoulders of our leaders. And at the same time, one, not to take advantage of that. Na nakikita nila, itong mga to, wala nang pasyensya. They're on the verge of madness, of anger, na pwede kong ma-exploit. So I hope that our leaders are judicious in their actions, and they're aware that that's not the way to go about it. And second, yung mga leaders who will take up that responsibility and say, mahirap nga, konting pasyensya ka lang. Alam ko, hindi nyo gusto marinig yan, pero kailangan natin yan. And sabi nga nila, like, Manolo, yung K-12, these programs, these take time. You may not want to hear. It's gonna take longer than what you said. But, and this is where credibility comes in, trust comes in, and which is the hallmarks of a civic project.
Thank you, Carlo. Manolo, Leloy?
Okay, if it's what gives me hope. Actually, there was just a survey that came out sa SWS, if I'm not mistaken, tungkol sa ayuda. At tinanong ang mga tao about the different kinds of ayuda at kung mahalaga ba ang konsepto ng ayuda at kailangan ba ituloy ang mga sistema ng pagbigay ng ayuda. And I was surprised again and again for each type, mga 80% in favor. And I had come to the point where I was convinced na naging very selfish and very self-centered na ang mga kababayan natin. And this reminded me na hindi, rich or poor, we still believe in helping each other out and giving that means. That gives me a lot of hope. First of all, it gives me hope na yung may kaya, magbibigay pa rin. Dahil yun nga bilang pasasalamat na meron silang kapasidad na tumulong and because obligasyon nila. Para sa mga kulang sa buhay, na tatanggapin nila ito hindi lang bilang kasi kailangan namin, but bilang may katumbas din, may babalik sila sa kababayan nila at sa lipunan at sa bansa. So that gives me a lot of hope. It also reminds me na pag one way or another ang liderato natin, some better and some worse than others, responsive naman sila sa mga botante. One way or another, humahanap sila ng paraan para lutasin ang mga problema. Of course, katulad ng binigit ni Fads, ang measurement ng success is very limited, 3 years maximum. Kasi syempre, kung feeling ng tao inutil ka, hindi ka na lang iboboto. At wala ka na matutulungan talaga. So, it always brings me back to yung sinabi ni Rizal, tal pueblo, tal gobyerno. Kung paano ang sambayanan, ganun ang kanilang pamahalaan. And, if there's a shortcoming in your leadership, it's like, the level of water cannot rise above itself. You have to be demanding of yourself bago magdemanda ka dun sa namumuno sa iyo. And I think it's happening more and more. You know where we saw it, and that really, this is my closing part. Nung pandemic, marami talaga naghihirap. And government, which can move big things, but very slowly, was not moving fast enough. And the private sector took it upon itself to prevent mass starvation, literally. And they did it quietly, without any fanfare, without asking anything in return. As a matter of national survival, hindi ba? So we can do it. Katulad ng pinapatunayan din natin sa show na ito, those lessons are being implemented every day in small ways because of how it empowered people to think na hindi na tayo trapped sa mga problema na dati insurmountable. So I think that's the thing. Remember that you can ask people to judge you less harshly if you judge them less harshly yourself. And if you realize that there's more out there who want to help, then hate it.
Okay. Thank you, Manolo. Very, very, very well said. Thank you. Leloy?
I draw a lot of hope from the Philippines dahil nakatira ako sa US. At parang okay ng Pilipinas ngayon. Dito sa US, Fads, Manolo, Carlo, ang kaaway mo kapwa Amerikano eh. Kasi yung hidwaan ng Democratic Party at saka ng Republican Party, napakalalim. And it's very, very bitter. So, when ang kaaway mo dapat yung mga tao na gustong sirain yung demokrasya mo or yung mga galing labas na who don't wish you well. Right? Pero dito ang kaaway nila actually ay isa't isa. Madalas pulaan ng Pilipinas for having a weak party system, but in a sense, actually, the strength of the party system of the US, the strength of yung democratic and republican identity, is precisely what led to yung partisan mess that the US
Right,
is in
yeah.
now. Tayo actually, we have a weak party system, but maybe it's not the worst thing in the world because our politicians, yung sa Senado, nag-uusap pa rin sila. Hindi,
Mm.
hindi yung bawat session magsasaksakan sila parang dito. So, maybe if there's a big political issue kagaya ng impeachment, magkakaroon ng hidwaan. Pero pagdating sa level ng polisiya, kaya pa rin mag-usap. Makikita mo si Risa Ontiveros kausap si Bato de la Rosa, for example, when they agree on certain policies. So, I think kung ganun ang gobyerno, siguro meron pa rin ganun sa mga Pilipino mismo na may mga issue na hindi guhitan ng partido, kundi policy issue pa rin. And I think yung big policy issues where there's so much agreement, for example, sa Pilipinas, yung healthcare, naniniwala talaga na tayo na dapat ang mga Pilipino ay dapat mabuhay na malusog. Yung edukasyon, lahat tayo naniniwala na hindi dapat sirain ang sistema ng edukasyon, hindi gaya dito sa US, di ba? Yung konsepto ng national interest na share natin at kaya natin pakinggan ng isa't isa, buhay pa rin yun sa Pilipinas and it's times like this na talagang namimiss ko ang Pilipinas at ang sarap-sarap siguro umuwi ngayon kumpara dito sa US.
Leloy, dagdag ko lang kasi comparing to US. Minsan, nung katatapos lang ng election sa US, meron siyang kausap. Ano to? Opposition to, no? One of the big, hindi naman big, but supporter to. Consistent supporter ng opposition. Sabi niya gano'n. Alam mo, kung hindi tayo makinig sa ibang tao, kung hindi tayo makinig sa mga tao, we will be like the Democratic Party, we will become irrelevant. Sabi niya gano'n.
Malalaos.
Ha?
Malalaos, Pads.
Okay, so ako naman yung source of hope ko, I go back to what I said at the start, di ba? Yung let us not give up on one another because God does not give up on us, no? And ako, I am hoping that we take that to heart, no? Kasi tawag nga ng mga obispo is, ako doon ako bumilib eh. Tingnan natin yung sarili natin muna. After a scathing description of what's wrong in society, biglang nag-shift, di ba? Akala mo sa una, ba, ayan, binabanatan na, no? Tapos biglang nag-shift. Let's look at ourselves, di ba? Let's examine ourselves, di ba? And what path should we take? What conversion do we need, no? Individually, institutionally, and as a church, no? And that becomes a source of hope. Tapos, yung isa pang magandang pivot nila dun sa pastoral letter, they talked about Black Saturday. Sabi niya that moment, that period of death, no? Between the death on the cross, the Good Friday, and Easter resurrection. Sabi nila, doon lumabas, doon nag-germinate ang pag-asa. And when I was reading that, naalala ko si Gabriel Marcel, di ba? Probably the greatest Christian existentialist na sabi niya ganon, it was in the despair of the cross that Christian hope emerged. Hope always comes at the threshold of despair. And doon tayo nadala di ba? And with all due respects, doon tayo dinala ng administrasyon ni Duterte. I think. Di ba? That desperation And now I think the hope is emerging. Ako yun yung pag-asa ko. And then of course, na-trigger ito ng national budget, ang trigger, let's face it, di ba? The trigger was the 2025 budget, di ba? Pero ngayon, lumalabas na lahat ng issues, no? And I think now is the time, nagkataon na Jubilee Year of Hope pa, so yun din yung tawag ng mga obispo, no? So, for me, I'm really very hopeful. And as best as we can, I think we should try to create moments of dialogue and partnerships. And I think that can be done now na ang mga obispo nagbigay na ng nagbigay na sila ng ground kung saan tayo pwede mag-usap-usap, no? Kasi pag makikinig kayo, ba lahat demonyo, di ba? In fact, one of the things that was mentioned is let's stop demonizing, for example, businessmen, no? Kasi meron naman mga businessmen na matitino, no? So, for me, I'm very hopeful that the era of partnerships and dialogue is forthcoming, ano. So yun yung aking pag-asa. Siguro kung pwede ko ba kayong hingan na para na ako si Boy Abunda nito, di ba? Kuya Boy, with all due apologies na ano. Kung meron kayong kakausapin na bata, anak o estudyante, ano yung payo ninyo in engaging now in the coming campaign, the coming election, but engaging in their civic duty sa mga kabataan, anong sasabihin ninyo?
So, Noy, Toy, ano, pinag-usapan natin yung pag-asa, no? Pero kailangan mo maintindihan, yung pag-asa, it's just one aspect of the 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 formula. So, ang hope pagka walang action, walang mangyayari. So, you always have to follow up yung pag-asa with action. And action does not have to be big. It can be small. It can be within your circle of influence. And ultimately it has to come from a point of reflection. Like ako, I used to come from the world of politics, pero nag-reflect ako, nakita ko na hindi ako effective diyan sa sphere na yan. Pero sinabi ko, may pag-asa pa rin ako, um gusto ko pa rin gumawa ng action. Kaya ngayon, I'm part of Proyekto Pilipino. And this is one of the things that I've put into action. How can I still contribute? And this is one of the small things that I can do.
Thank you, Carlo.
Sa akin, siguro dalawang
Kausapin mo
kung,
si Lucy Manolo. Lucy,
well then, Lucy, this is my daughter, no? So, sa akin, watch the news or read the newspaper every day, whether someone watches it with you or not, because you have to discover the world on your own. The other thing is, go to your parish and look for the PPCRV. And you don't have to join, but look at the kinds of people who join. Are they the kind of people you would like to be with when you're old enough? And I think that will show you what the world is like and those who have committed to have an impact in the world, what they are like.
Ako, Father, sasabihin ko lang sa kabataan, may isip kayong bago kumpara sa amin. At yung bago na yon, babaguhin yung mundo. Dahil habang lumalaon ng panahon, nalalaos talaga kami dito mga tao dito sa Proyekto Pilipino, and we will rely on you for new ideas. And where do you get that new ideas? I think it's from community. I think to gain hope, you find it in other people. So, whenever you're feeling hopeless, join something. Join a sports team, join a church, join a join a new gaming community, whatever. As long as there's community, you will have hope there. And as long as this community doesn't look in but looks out, lalabas ang hope.
thank you. Thank you. Ako naman, siguro dun sa mga kabataan, let's take to heart yung sinabi ng mga bishops. Let's not give up on one another. And because God will not give up on us. Let's continue to support each other. Tapos may isang imahen din dun sa sulat na address sa kabataan. Sabi ng mga obispo, take your individual feathers and put it together sa kabataan, put it together to create your wings to create a better future, to fly and create a better future. And sabi nga dun sa sulat, piliin natin yung tamang mga pinuno for the sake of the present and the future. Siguro yun din, sabi nga ni Leloy na kami, ako senior na ako, ewan ko kung kailan kayo magsisenior, no? But most definitely lahat, lampas na tayo ng 40, no? We're doing this for you. siguro yun lang ang masasabi ko. And I think kaming apat dito, nagtsatsaga kami kahit wala kaming sweldo, kahit si Marisa kung minsan late namin bayaran ang kanilang production. Ano, andito kami kasi we're doing this for you. We're doing this for you. And we will not give up on this project. We will not give up on you. So please do not give up also. So, mga kaproyekto, ito po ang Proyekto Pilipina, and also for these two episodes for Journeys of Hope. Babalik ko kami next week. Siguro, baka lang pag-usapan naming apat ulit kahit walang guest, party list. Importante si party list. So let's talk about party list next week. Okay ba sa inyo yun?
Yes.
Yeah, even without a guest, let's just prepare. Let's do our own research and reflections on party list. So maraming pong salamat. Ito po ang Proyekto Pilipino.